on a Friday night in South Florida. Fans coming in to see the Florida Marlins and the Houston Astros. This would be game 2 of a 4-game series. The Marlins winners last night, having won 2 in a row, looking for some momentum. Possibly they could get some more tonight. Gabby Sanchez and the Fish facing just a 20-year-old right-hander, and it's a veteran on the mound for the Florida Marlins. Nice to have you with us, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. You can feel the ball club has played better under Jack McKeon. Now they're just trying to get on a little bit of a roll, get some momentum. 2 games in a row, a nice win last night.
Yeah, nice win last night, and you talk about that momentum and the role the ball club's on. A lot of that has to do with Bonifacio.
Yeah, well, Emilio Bonifacio is not in the lineup. In fact, he's not here right now. He apparently, his wife being induced and about to give birth. It's a possibility he may be able to get here in the 8th or the 9th inning to pinch run or pinch hit, but he's been a nice spark plug.
Yeah, he has. It seems like every time he gets on, he's been stealing bases with a good percentage. He's been hitting the ball on the ground. He's been doing everything right.
And since there's a right-hander on the mound, it's Brian Peterson who's going to start in center field tonight, and he's going to be in that leadoff spot. The Marlins, if they can get a win tonight for Javi Vasquez, that'd be terrific, because his last 4 starts, he's been dynamite, but the Fish don't have much to show for it.
You know, there are a couple of things you really look at in his last 4 starts. For me, I look at the strikeouts and walks. He's been able to keep the walks down. Only 3, 15 strikeouts, but oh man, look at the run support. He hasn't even gotten 2 runs a start. That's why he's 1-2, but a 1.54 ERA. The Astros, by the way, will see a different Javi Vasquez than they saw in early April pitching at Minute Maid.
And it's a real contrast in starters as well. Our Coventry Healthcare of Florida starting pitchers.
Got the 20-year-old Jordan Lyles. He's a terrific athlete. He was a great wide receiver in high school and has a lot of composure on the mound for being just 20. Then you have the 35-year-old Javi Vasquez making his 18th start.
There you go. It's Vasquez, it's Lyles, it's Marlins, and Astros. Jeff Conine breaks down some big swings from last night when we return.
Late Jeff. Marlins are 8-8 now under Jack McKeon, and a couple of reasons for turning it around. I mean, they lost 19-20 before that. Is 2 of their young power hitters, Mike Stanton and Logan Morrison.
Well, they're going to be the key to this Marlins offense for hopefully many years to come. And they're both game changers, especially Mike Stanton with the way he's been hitting the ball lately. Can definitely change games and end them, as we saw the other night. So take a look at his swing right here. This is the bottom of the 8th inning the other night. We got bases loaded, 1 out. You really want him to concentrate on putting the ball in the air, just get that run home. You see the sinker get in on him. Doesn't quite get the bat head to it. Shatters the bat. An inning-ending double play. Not a good thing to see. But 2 innings later, we see a hanging breaking ball right here from Denny Baez. Look at the extension on this pitch. The bat perfectly struck. and this thing gets out of here in a heartbeat.
And then last night, he had another one, not a bad pitch.
I mean, actually not bad location, but look at the extension of the ball. With the bat, you see the perfect connection with the bat on the ball. This thing goes much higher than the one the night before, and it travels a long way. That's probably a 440, 450-foot home run.
Like one of the punts we saw at that high school piece that Frank had on. What about Logan Morrison?
Logan Morrison's been having a little problem, I think, with casting the bat out around the ball. You see what he does on this one right here. He casts it out around, ground ball to second base.
But Logan
he's the best when he comes back in here. You see he stays behind the ball right here. The bat head stays behind his hands. He's able to get this ball into left field for a home run. I mean, that is serious power here when you go the opposite field that way for home run. And same thing, when you hear the coaches saying, you hear a lot of people say, oh, just take what the pitcher gives you. This is a pitch that's a tough pitcher's pitch in the outside part of the plate. Logan's not trying to do too much with it and serves it over to the left field, gets a base hit on it.
Yeah, 8 of his last 10 hits, extra base hits for Lomo, and Stanton has hit now in 7 of the last 8 over 300. He gets on a little roll. We saw it almost every time he hits homers. Like a lot of home runners, he hits them in bunches.
He hits them in bunches, and this guy does some serious damage. If he gets the ball on the sweet part of the bat and gets it in the air, it's gone. That's all there is to it.
He's one of those guys you don't want to miss his AB. We'll have several of them coming at you tonight as Rich and Tommy will call Game 2 of this series against the Astros. Jeff and I will see you on the post game as well. But first, it's baseball. Matchup of Jordan Lyles, the youngster, against veteran Javier Vasquez, coming at you next on Fox Sports Florida.
AT&T, by Checkers, Little Place, Big Taste, and by All Year Cooling, today's comfort, yesterday's prices. Ready to go, Sun Life Stadium, Astros and Marlins. Brad Mills made out his lineup, and here's what it looks like. And it's brought to you by Warren Henry Automobiles. Speedy Michael Bourne with his 35 stolen bases leads it off. Angel Sanchez at third. Hunter Pence, second in the National League in hitting right now. El Caballo, Carlos Lee hits cleanup. Jeff Keppinger at second. Brett Wallace back in the lineup with the righty on the mound. Clint Barmas at short. Carlos Corporan is the catcher. Jordan Lyles hits ninth. Corporan.
Hey, and there's a look at Javi Vasquez, the 35-year-old veteran. Beat the Astros earlier this year in April, but as I mentioned, they'll see a little different pitcher, I think, tonight.
Dale Scott says strike one, and we're underway. Michael Bourne, Angel Sanchez, and Hunter Pence. Bourne's certainly the type of guy you want to keep off base. 35 stolen bases. At his best in the National League. Jose Reyes is next at 30. The Astros, even though they don't score a lot of runs, do have some guys near the top of some categories. And Brad Mills has Bourne, who leads in stolen bases, and Hunter Pence, who is second in batting average. Tapper towards short. Hanley has it. Got to get there. He beat it.
Boy, you got to rush that play, and I don't know if Hanley had a good grip on it. But as an infielder, you have to know that Michael Bourne has 21, now 22 infield hits. Just got to get rid of it a little quicker, and Bourne showed his speed and got that infield base hit.
So Michael Bourne at first base.
And it was something last night that between Brad Hand and Randy Choate, they kept Bourne off the bases.
Now Vasquez to the plate, and he pounds his own for a strike. Angel Sanchez was 1 for 3 last night. Sanchez known better for his glove than his bat, but he's hitting at .262. 27-year-old Puerto Rican came over in a trade from the Boston Red Sox. Bourne not running. Vasquez gets strike 2, and it's 0-2. Caught just 4 times this year. You see Matt Kemp is having quite a season as well at 26 stolen bases.
Yeah, Kemp throwing in some power too.
And Vasquez will chase Bourne back. Marlins last night with a 5-0 win. Win number 40 on this season. So the Fish are 8 under with 3 left to play in the first half. The mythical first half, not the exact first half of the season, but once you get to the All-Star break, baseball breaks it in halves from that point. Sanchez shoots that past Bobby Meacham, the first base coach.
Usually front-loaded a little bit, usually a few more games before the All-Star break. I believe the Marlins will play 90 games. Maybe 91.
Sanchez pops that one foul and out of play. So it's 0-2. Houston, on the other hand, languishing in the basement of the Central, 30-59. You know, Brad Mills can look at those league leaders and he'll see Pence second in hitting, Bourne first in stolen bases, and some guy named Berkman leading the National League in home runs. And of course, that's the longtime Astro, currently a St. Louis Cardinal, guy who was traded to the Yankees, did not have a real good season in either place last year. Berkman, coming off some leg injuries, really rehabbed hard in the offseason because he was preparing to play right field instead of first base.
Yeah, and we saw him a lot in spring training, and physically he looked terrific.
Dale Scott rings up Sanchez. And if anybody questions Dale Scott tonight, Tommy, you know what he can tell him?
Dale Scott can say, don't question me. I'm going to be the home plate umpire at the All-Star game. So congratulations to Dale Scott. His 3rd All-Star appearance. He'll be behind the plate. And another member of his crew here tonight, Dan Iasonia, will be at third base for the All-Star game.
Here is Hunter Pence. Pence 0 for 3 with a walk last night. Bourne hasn't cut loose yet. There's Iasonia.
There's Iasonia. Yeah, Dale Scott will also be the crew chief of that All-Star crew. Jerry Lane, Hunter Wendelstedt, Ed Hickox, and Chris Guccione also on that staff. So it's a great experience for the umpires as well.
Absolutely. Great honor. Let's see if Bourne is running here. Still not. And there's a ground ball. Infante to his left. Throws it by Hanley. And it ends up with Dobbs. And so the throw by Infante going to be a fielder's choice, and I expect an E4.
Well, nobody advanced, but I could see where it could be an error. Not an easy play. He has to turn, throw on the run. It's not a good throw, and he leaves Hanley out to dry. Fortunately, Hanley's able to just kind of somersault, jump over Michael Bourne.
And in Foxmo, you can see the ball sailing. Hanley even tried to barehand it. As of now, there's no error posted on the board. So the Marlins certainly haven't helped Javi Vasquez much at all. He had a routine grounder that Bourne beat out for an infield single. A ball that got to Hanley, and Hanley probably, if he could do it over, would maybe hurry it up a little bit. And then Infante's throw sails wide. Now you got a dangerous hitter at the plate in Carlos Lee.
And very good speed on the bases for the Astros.
Yeah, the trail runner, Hunter Pence, a very good runner. And you got Bourne, of course, at second. And Lee sends one in the gap. Peterson is after it. He's there, and he makes the catch. Bourne is tagging and on his way to third. Pence retreats. Good first step and good route by Brian Peterson in center.
He was watching Mike Cameron last night, no doubt. Take a look at the defense tonight for the Marlins, brought to you by Warren Henry. Logan Morrison, Peterson, and Stanton. Greg Dobbs with the start at third base. As you look at the rest of the defense, it's a defense that's fifth in the National League with just 49 errors.
Here is Keppinger now. Jeff, the Astros' second baseman, and in the 5 spot, guy that we saw a lot of in Cincinnati as a sure-handed shortstop.
We did not see Keppinger down in Houston. That first series at Minute Maid, he was recovering from foot surgery. He was on the disabled list.
Vasquez just misses. And the count's 2-0. You noted the walk total. You see Bourne at third, Pence across the diamond, and how Vasquez had all but eliminated the walk in his last 4 starts. And the delineation point of Javier Vasquez's rehabilitation as a starter is pretty stark. Last 4 starts, a 1.54 ERA. Previous 4 starts to that, an 8.69 earned run average. In the air, right center, Peterson coming, and it's going to land for a base hit. It'll score Bourne. So the Marlin misplays on the infield cost a run, at least. And here comes a pretty good hitter in Brett Wallace.
Well, absolutely nothing you could do about that. That ball hit off the end of the bat. So Keppinger just found the right spot. A good slider from Vasquez. Peterson wasn't going to get there. Nobody was going to get there, and kind of in no man's land. And the inning continues.
Now here is Wallace. And he smacks it into center field. He delivers a run. Hunter Pence scores.
Now remember, all of those starts early in the year for Javier Vasquez, the struggles he had in the first inning. I want to say at 5, 6, 7 starts in a row where he gave up first inning runs. But as you pointed out, Rich, a lot of this he could have avoided, and not of his doing.
No, a routine ground ball. Hanley took his time on the throw to first. Bourne beat it out. Infante, the wild throw to second that probably should at least have one error fixed to it. Peterson comes in and makes the catch. The Astros put 2 on the board, and they give their young starter a 2-0 lead. Well, the Astros get 2 in the top of the first. And now the Marlins come to the plate. Brought to you by Warren Henry. We told you that Emilio Bonifacio is with his wife, who is apparently delivering a child today. So Brian Peterson gets the start at center field. Omar Infante at second. Gabby Sanchez at first. Andy Ramirez hits cleanup. Logan Morrison in that familiar 5 spot. Mike Stanton follows him. Greg Dobbs gets the start at third. John Buck hits 8th. And Javi Vasquez hits 9th. And there's a look at Jordan Lyles, all of 20. He misses high to Brian Peterson.
Well, Lyles has had 7 starts. You see his record 0-3. Not a kid you expect when you hear a 20-year-old is pitching against you. You expect a strapping 6'5" guy, about 250, throwing 95. But he's a pitcher who relies on command, and he always has.
He was a supplemental pick, or a sandwich pick as they call it, between the first and second round in 2008 out of Hartsville, South Carolina. In fact, he committed to South Carolina as a wide receiver.
Go where that passing offense is. There's a scouting report on the kid. Yeah, just 20 years old. Good rotation, tight rotation on that curveball. His changeup has a little sink to it. Up until today, he was the youngest player in the major leagues, but the Angels called up a terrific young outfielder, Mike Trout, just 19 years old.
Yeah, Trout is with the club in Seattle tonight. Boy, that didn't miss by much, but Peterson is aboard. Astros defense.
Good job by Brian Peterson. Warren Henry will bring you that Astros defense. Carlos Lee goes back to left. He was at first base last night. Angel Sanchez, Barmes and Keppinger, a couple of veterans up the middle. Brett Wallace and Carlos Corporan is the catcher, a switch hitter. He's behind the plate.
So Peterson's at first. And Lyles misses low and inside. Omar Infante 1 for 4 last night. Drove in a run. His average has kind of hovered between 255 and 260 now for almost about a month.
I think the Marlins, that's not a good approach there. Have to make this young kid work. His last outing, it was a no decision to the Red Sox. He went 5 innings, gave up just 3 hits and a run, but he threw 101 pitches in 5 innings.
Lyles' pitch is ripped into the seats. And they count 1-2. And Mike Trout is rated as the top prospect in all of baseball by MLB.com. He's hitting .330 in Double-A for the Angels with 28 stolen bases, 9 homers, 11 triples. And Infante goes down swinging. So a good look at Lyles' stuff. As he strikes out one of the tougher guys to strike out in the National League, Omar Infante. All Your Cooling brings you the weather report tonight. Much clearer and much nicer than last night. The game was played at times in some drizzle. 87 degrees, partly cloudy. Omar Infante is the 7th toughest to strike out in the National League. Jose Reyes leads that category as well. Reyes punching out once every 14 times up. Infante, before that strikeout, once every 11 times up. 1-0 pitch to Gabby. Obviously, one thing you lose with Bonifacio not being here tonight is that base stealing potential and the threat to the pitcher, the pressure it puts on the pitcher. Little check swing. Lyles is going to get the out at first. Peterson's in scoring position. Here comes Hanley.
Well, we've seen some good sliders. We saw a change up there that fooled Gabby. He just couldn't pull the swing back.
Here comes Hanley. He was 0 for 3 last night.
You know, one of the areas, Rich, I know you and I talk about this a lot in spring training, when you get to see a young player or a young pitcher, even if you know they're going to be sent out, if they impress people in the spring, the higher ups remember. And Jordan Lyles impressed in the spring, 14 innings, gave up just 3 earned runs. So the Astros remembered that.
And he was having a good year in AAA. Houston's AAA affiliate is Oklahoma City. 3-3 with a 3.20 ERA. That was in 10 starts. This is his 8th career start. Hanley drives it right center field. That ball's hit deep, and it is gone. 2-run shot, tie ball game, just like that.
Wow. Give up 2 early runs in the top half. That's a quick way and a nice way to get him back. And I guess you could say, Rich, Hanley a little responsible for those runs in the top half of the first. Well, he made up for it in a hurry.
That's got to feel good for Hanley. I expect he'll probably give Javi Vasquez a little pop in the back when he gets into the dugout.
Hey, this is a jolt, too, when a right-hander hits a ball this far, just right of center field. Hanley with great extension. I think he takes it over the Geico sign. That's a long way to go. 6th home run that Lyles has given up in just 42 innings.
So it's 2-2 already. And Logan Morrison takes down low. So Hanley's run since getting into the cleanup spot continues. Morrison takes a changeup at the knees for a strike. Last 15 games, Hanley has hit 4 homers and has driven in 16. His first 55 games, he hit 4 homers and drove in 17. So if the Marlins can get a second half out of Hanley like they're accustomed to getting, certainly that would go a long way to getting this ball club back on its feet.
Changes the whole complexion of the offense, too.
Morrison takes a strike to count now at 2-2. On the ground, Keppinger, very sure glove. Makes the play, and the inning is over. But the Marlins on a Hanley Ramirez home run and tied it at 2.
Yesterday, Rich, Hanley Ramirez, remember that that play in Texas, the Elvis Andrus, it was charged in error, that has been overturned. So Hanley, the recipient of a base hit and an RBI.
Marty Sewell, part of the Marlins PR staff, going to bat for Hanley.
The long, arduous process.
No relation to George Argyris. Used to be a major league owner. There's a fastball for a strike.
Where was that? Seattle?
He was Seattle. Yes,
Seattle,
he was,
wasn't it?
Yes, he was. I think he was a shipbuilder as well.
Didn't work out quite as well as the other ship builder that owned a team.
No, you're right about that, Mr. Steinbrenner. That's in the infield, and let's see who wants it. Buck comes out and makes the catch. John Buck in charge there, about 10 feet in front of the mound. Baker Concrete Super Saturday on July 9th, featuring the post-game show. Hey, that's tomorrow. Cirque Dreams, presented by Doctors Hospital, Marlins and Astros at 7:10. Afterwards, big post-game production of Cirque Dreams Live, 1-877 Marlins. The number to call, or visit marlins.com. Here's Lyles.
You got to figure this kid's a decent hitter, or going to be, because of the type of athlete he was in high school.
And he's not that far removed from high school.
Yeah.
But of course, in the minor leagues, pitchers don't hit until they get to Double-A, and only when two National League affiliates are playing each other in the minor leagues, which just seems silly. Not only do you have two sets of rules for each league, the American and the National, but in the minor leagues, you can't even agree when the two league affiliates play each other. Ooh, Vasquez put his hand out after that one. Hanley has it, spins and throws and gets him at first. Great play by Hanley Ramirez. Let's hope Javi Vasquez didn't have that thing clip his hand.
Yeah, and I think we saw a little bit of that wide receiver going up the line in Jordan Lyles. There's Javi reaching. Hanley with the pick, a terrific play. You know, a lot of pitchers you're going to get by much more, and that was very close. He could have beaten it out. Let's see. That's one of those short hops. It's extremely hard for the umpire to hear and time, but a great play all around.
And Vasquez is just fine. He goes after Bourne. One thing's for sure, anybody that has a ground ball hit to him, they're going to hurry it up to first after watching Bourne beat out that routine grounder to short to lead off the game. They're your infield hit leaders. Tommy Hutton was on that as soon as Bourne hit it.
Well, you get a speedy guy and you start looking at infield hits, bunt hits. We do the same with Bonifacio. Bourne's always at the top or near the top of those two.
Last night I made the comment that if Bonifacio can make himself into the type of hitter that Bourne is right now, a 280 hitter with an on-base percentage right at 350, then all of a sudden Bonifacio on an everyday basis is a weapon. Well, Bonifacio's on-base percentage is up to 346 now, and his average at 277. 3-2 coming. Bourne laces it into left field, a base hit. And with 2 outs, he probably won't be anchored at first that long. I'm surprised that he didn't run during the Sanchez at bat back in the first inning.
Yeah, I was too, especially with the percentage that he has. He's only been caught 4 times.
And John Buck has not had the best of years throwing runners out. Buck has caught just 17% of opposing base stealers. Mid-20s is considered to be good in the big leagues. You get into the upper 20s, lower 30s, that's really good, and you get into the 40s, and you're Pudge Rodriguez, or maybe Yadier Molina.
And you're in the Hall of Fame, yeah. Not good news for Pudge, though. Now, there was a lot of speculation. Pudge had to go on the disabled list with an oblique strain, and his name has been out there as far as trade bait. Possibly the Giants, a team that looking for catching. But he had to go on the disabled list today.
Bourne's at first, still not running, and Vasquez throws a strike. It's 1-1. There are the numbers on Bourne. The San Francisco Giants, one of the teams thought to be kicking the tires on Pudge with their need at catcher. It's the Giants and the Mets tonight out on the West Coast. Padres and Dodgers are out there as well. Sanchez fouls it off, and it's 1-2. Is Vasquez that quick to the plate that he's keeping Bourne from running here?
He's probably the best as far as Marlins starters. Over the years, Javi 5-5 in his career against the Astros.
Braves and Phillies are delayed up in Philadelphia. Bourne is leaning.
Must be some rain up there in the Northeast.
Yep.
Yankees had their game postponed.
Rockies and Nationals are just underway, and Washington has a 1-0 lead. They're headed to the top of the third. Throw over to first. Hey, congratulations and a heartfelt good luck to Dontrelle Willis, who has been called up by the Cincinnati Reds and is slated to start on Sunday. He's healthy again and is pitching well. No swing. Edinson Volquez will be sent down to the minor leagues. And so the D train, who in the last 13 months has been with the Tigers, the Diamondbacks, the Giants, and the Reds organization. Running on the 2-2 pitch, and it's fouled back.
I think the key in looking at Dontrelle's numbers, he was able to throw strikes. He kept the walks down. That was always over the last few years where he really had some issues. But terrific numbers in AAA.
75 1/3 innings, just 20 walks, and 67 strikeouts, and an ERA of 2.63. And probably would have been in the big leagues sooner had he not been injured when we were in Cincinnati. Breaking ball misses. Crowd wanted it. It's 3-2. Let's take a look on Fox Tracks. And looks in.
Probably hung inside.
And it was. So Bourne obviously will be moving now. 3-2 with 2 outs. Little tapper up the line, foul.
Yeah, I'm with you, Rich. I'm really surprised that we did not see Bourne running earlier.
Yeah, because, I mean, if you're going to run with Sanchez at the plate, why wait until it's 2-2? Why not run earlier in the count? So if you steal the bag, you at least give him a shot to drive in a run.
In the absolute worst case scenario, if he is thrown out, you have Sanchez leading the inning off.
3-2 again. Ground ball. Dobbs to his left. Fires to first in time. Well, Vasquez bounces back from his first with a scoreless second. the second. Inside the Marlins, Mike Stanton debuts tonight, right after Marlins Live, which is right after the Marlins and the Astros. Saw a sneak peek on Marlins Live before the ball game. You'll see Mike Stanton catching passes, Mike Stanton posting up as a basketball player, and of course some great high school footage and a visit with all of his coaches in all three sports at Notre Dame High School.
Some great footage of Mike as a receiver, pulling down some passes.
Oh-2. Fastball up. With pie in his face the other night, you can see Stanton asking for time, feeling that Lyles is kind of speeding him up a bit. 1-2. Stanton said, you know, it's not so much about seeing the ball. He said it's more about pitch selection for him. Here's the 2-2. Fouled at the plate.
Pretty good pitch selection last night. And all you have to do is see where it was. It was down out over the plate. Great extension. And some 440 feet away. Home run number 18.
Off the end of the bat. Still got into it. Lee watches it bounce off the wall. And Stanton around first. Ends up at second. In fact, that may have broken the bat. But it's a double. A leadoff double to open up the second. His 17th of the season.
The Astros are seeing a powerful Mike Stanton. You can tell that even the way they pitched to him after the home run last night. This is going to be our checkers double of the game. You're right. I'm not so sure he hit it all that solidly, but still gets it off the wall over the head of Carlos Lee. And our checkers double of the game.
Well, the Marlins have a chance to get him over and try to get him in. Here's Greg Dobbs, and he pulls it. Diving stop by Wallace, who robs Greg Dobbs of a hit, but a professional at bat. Dobbs moves him up 90 feet, and that puts the onus on John Buck to drive him in.
Boy, that's one of those balls, Rich, when you're going up the line. You know you got the job done, but you also know you could have had a double and an RBI. Great play by Wallace. Off the line, full extension. Look at, he actually lands in foul territory. Ball was hit sharply by Greg Dobbs, but it now sets up a situation with Stanton over third. We'll see what the infield does. Looks like they're going to play in.
Well, as well, you had Corporan go out to the mound, and I'm sure he reminded Jordan Lyles, hey, look, the pitcher's on deck, so if you're not that comfortable with John Buck, you can always pitch to Javi Vasquez with a runner at first. So let's see. Middle infield's kind of halfway. Whoa! All the way to the backstop, and there's no way Stanton's going to score. That ball took such a direct route to the backstop that it kicked right back to Corporan.
That looked like a curveball that just went awry, or a changeup. It wasn't a fastball, but right on it quickly was Corporan. John Buck says that was that high?
Is that not? I think he said, is that the top of the strike zone? See, that's even generous on Foxtrot. I'm surprised it showed up on radar. And it misses in. It's 2-0. Jeff Conine told me the other day that as a hitter, when you're trying to get along with an umpire, if you get a pitch that's you think is a little bit outside or a little bit high, the way you can tell an umpire that politely, here's the 2-0 pitch. Buck takes inside to say, is that how high it's going to get, or is that the limit? Is that as far outside as it'll get? So I think that's what Buck was doing facetiously to Dale Scott.
If he tells you just turn around and hit, then you're not going to have a good relationship with him.
Pitch is inside, and I think Houston was pitching very carefully to Buck. Now they'll take their chances with Vasquez. Fox Saturday Baseball. If the rain lets up. The Braves and the Phillies will match up in Game 2 of their showdown in the National League East. Battling for the top spot. The Braves go into that series 2.5 behind the Phillies. Begins at 4 Eastern, 3 Central. Don't forget the MLB All-Star Game live from Phoenix Tuesday.
There's a
8
couple
Eastern
of
and 7 Central.
A couple of ways, Rich, that you can play this here. We'll see what Jack has up his sleeve. And you have a lot of opportunities because Javier Vasquez handles the bat well. You could let him swing away. You could have him drop down a bunt to move Buck to second base and set the stage for Brian Peterson, who's on deck.
Joe Espada running through the signs. One thing we've seen is that Jordan Lyles doesn't have the best of control right now.
He doesn't have what is his strong point, command.
Poporan sets up inside. And that's where the pitch misses. What you don't want here as the Marlins is Vasquez to swing away and hit something on the ground up the middle, which could kill the inning. Doug Brocail doesn't like what he sees, and the pitching coach, the brand new pitching coach of the Astros, trots out to the mound.
You know, looking at Mike Stanton at third base after his double off the wall, you realize Mike's last 4 hits have been a triple, a home run, and a double.
2-0. You expect Vasquez is taking a strike?
You know, most pitchers, I'd say yes. I'm not 100% sure on Javi, but I say yeah. He's a pitcher. Let the top of the order get up there. But who knows? He swings the bat pretty well.
The Astros trying to see if he would tip his hand with Lyles stepping towards third. Grooves a 2-0 fastball. Now this is a situation too where if you bunt it down the third base line and bring the third baseman in, the runner can always follow the third baseman in, and that really forces the defense's hand. If you come in far enough, if the third baseman throws to first, you can score on it. Let's see if he is bunting. Now he did square a bit, but he may have been decoying because it was late after Lyles had shown that he was stepping towards third.
Yeah, Javi's sharp enough. He could have done that just as a decoy.
Drives the ball in right center field. Over for it is Pence. Got a good arm. Stanton is coming. Here comes the throw. He is out. Stanton tried to get around the catcher and catch the plate with his hand, and it's an inning-ending double play. Hunter Pence guns down another. ball playing days, and you almost wish that he may have taken some of that here rather than try a matrix type slide around the catcher.
Well, you and I were talking about this the other day because we had a similar play and Mike came in and was safe. And I truly do believe a lot of players, a lot of Marlin players, have in the back of their mind the Scott Cousins incident with Posey.
There's a soft liner out to second, and Infante grabs it. Now, I'm not saying that in that situation that he should plow through the catcher, but at least in talking to Joe Espada, he
clip him. You can slide and clip him a little bit.
I talked to Joe Espada about the play of a week ago in which Stanton was safe, and he said a better way to do it is just to slide directly at the plate, because if you do that, you are going to get a piece of the catcher, and you'll probably disrupt him from catching the ball cleanly. By going around him, you give the catcher more time to catch and then go beat you to the corner.
And for a guy who has a strong arm, 9th assist of the year for Pence, and that leads the National League. Yeah, you're right. We're not talking about a collision type. That's a whole different situation, that play there. But to slide, clip the catcher, you could still upend him by doing that and distract him from catching the throw.
Here's the 1-1. Carlos Lee got jammed. Morrison in. Out goes Hanley. Makes the catch. Let's check in with Allison Williams.
Thank you so much, Rich. I'm here with a great group of guys. They are called the Young Viejos, which translates to the Young Old Men, a softball squad. So tell me a little bit. This is Ron. He's one of the officers. Who are the Young Viejos?
Well, the Young Viejos are a group of younger old men who have decided they want to go back to their roots and play softball once again. And we have an age limit. We can't be younger than 65, but there's no age limit the other way. Our oldest player is our hero, Tony Sinetro. He's 93 years old, and you may have seen him on the cover of Neighbors and on national TV shows.
Because you guys have gotten some national pub lately,
yeah.
right? Including?
Well, we've been on Channel 6, CNN, Channel 41 locally, so, and with the Miami Herald and also the El Herald.
Fabulous. And Jerry, I want to know, what is the best thing about being a member of the Young Viejos?
Well, it's really the camaraderie right now. I'll tell you, there's a lot of us that are playing softball that we wouldn't have anything to do if we didn't do that. And so we go out every Tuesday and Thursday morning, and we choose up sides and we play. And the camaraderie is tremendous. And we're all like family.
So no set teams, right?
No, we pick up the teams every day because not all of the people come every day. But we try to choose fair and balanced teams. That's what we do.
Keeps it nice and competitive. Manny, what is it that you enjoy the most about playing softball at the Young Viejos?
What just Jerry just said, the camaraderie. We have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The exercise, and the blessing. That's because we've been playing our age is a blessing.
So are you going to recruit Jack McKeon after the season?
He's eligible.
No, let me tell you, he's an honorary member of the Young Bill. He has a certificate since 2003.
There you go, Jack McKeon, an honorary member of the Young Viejos. A good group to belong to out here enjoying a Marlin game. Guys.
Allison, it's like a scene from Cocoon out there. Here's the 1-2.
To see Steve Gutenberg come in there.
Wilfred Brimley at short. There's the throw to first in time as Dobbs makes the play. 1-2-3, third inning.
It's always great to run into the Crow talking hardball. Warren Cromartie be on the air at 7:90 tomorrow afternoon doing his show. But I want to talk to you, Crow, about Dick Williams. Tommy played for him. You played for him. 77, 81. The great Hall of Fame manager who passed away yesterday at 82. What are your recollections of Dick? Known as a fiery guy.
Not only that, he knew how to handle a bunch of characters. You know, in high school, I watched him with Oakland A's, with Joe Rudy and Reggie Jackson and Raleigh Fingers, those type of guys. So when he got us in 1977, the Expos, you know, he got us at the right time because we were looking for a leader at that time. And we knew all about Dick Williams, and he took us and he molded us. And I got to tell you, I wouldn't be the player I am today without him because he played me every day.
Crow, did he scare you? He was known as a fiery guy, not the most talkative guy.
No, he didn't scare me because I think he liked personalities. He liked players with personality, and I definitely had one. So, you know, I impressed him a little bit in spring training, and from then on, he took a liking to me and he played me every day against the tough left-handers and everybody else during that time.
What made him such a good manager?
I think he's always was one step ahead of the game. You know,
heads up.
One step ahead of the game, and I remember watching him on the bench at times, constantly looking at his lineup card, always thinking, and I was really impressed with that, and knew how to make moves and bring people at the right time.
Probably didn't like any payroll bandits either.
No, he didn't like guys that made a lot of money and didn't put up their worth. So, you know, we didn't have too many payroll bandits on our team.
What do you got coming up on the show tomorrow? You going to talk about hot dogs?
Well, no, we're not going to talk about. I'm going to talk about the All-Star game here in a little bit. Give my little opinion about the home field advantage situation and the home run hitting contest and what can baseball do to improve the All-Star game.
All right, guys, on Sunday we're going to have an interview with Crow and his pal Andre Dawson, who are really like the odd couple.
Oh yeah, we're the odd couple. You know, like the beer commercial, the old beer commercial. Less filling, great taste. You know, so the Bud Light thing. That's what it's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, Crow. We'll look forward to the show again. It's what time you on tomorrow?
4 to 6:30. Call me, homie.
Back to the other homies here. Rich Waltz. I can't say that. You have to say back to Rich.
Hey, back to Rich and Tommy. Tell it like it is, homies.
What a great teammate and a fun guy to be around.
There is only one Warren Cromartie. That's for sure. Did you see the breaking ball that Jordan Lyles uncorked here in this AB? It's the second one that he's thrown that high all the way to the screen. And then he runs one under the hands of Brian Peterson.
It's the second time he's had that breaking ball get away from him, back to the screen. Then he made a perfect pitch to strike out Peterson.
Here comes Infante now with Gabby Sanchez on deck. Infante a strikeout victim back in the first. Marlins had a great opportunity in the second. The leadoff double by Mike Stanton. Greg Dobbs moved him to third. But Hunter Pence throwing out Stanton on the fly ball by Javier Vasquez on a good catch and tag by the catcher Carlos Corporal. Oh, 2. Tapper towards short. Barmes. So 2 outs for the 20-year-old Jordan Lyles. The Tickets of America home tonight. When you think of the space shuttle, what do you think of? Cape Canaveral or Houston, Texas? 789-789. Standard rates apply. Everything went well with the shuttle launch this morning. Hard to believe that that's the last shuttle to go up. Hopefully everybody gets their ducks in a row. And there's another generation of space vehicles that is set to go sooner rather than later.
It has been quite a generation, and especially for us here in South Florida. I know many times just to be able to look up into the sky at one of the launchings and see it take off. A little cloudy today. Couldn't quite see it today.
2-1 to Gabby Sanchez. Bottom of the third, 2-2 game. Hooks it to left. Carlos Lee has no chance. And he crashes face first into the grass. If you thought Jason Michaels struggled last night, Carlos Lee is really battling it left. I mean, that's he's going to lose style points.
I mean, usually when you dive, you're going to get a glove on it, and El Caballo is 3 or 4 feet away.
He had good intentions, Tommy, but
yeah, he did. Didn't get there, and for Gabby, double number 21 on the air, and it looks just as bad in Fox mode too. You know what? One of our favorite, though. We love El Caballo because he's been a run producer in his entire career.
That may have shown up on some Richter scales in the area. Just a minor tremor.
Yeah, if he played for Oakland, they're the San Andreas fault. That could be trouble.
Gabby gets a double. Now Hanley's in a spot. Back in the first, he took a low outside fastball and hit it about 410 feet into the seats. Rolls that one up the middle into center field. Hanley has delivered all 3 runs in the game, and the Marlins lead at 3-2.
You love those 2-out rallies. With 2 out, the double by Gabby, and Hanley responds quickly. Right up the middle. You saw the effort by Barmas. He's just trying to get a glove on it, knock it down, and keep it in the infield. He couldn't get there. And Hanley gets himself another RBI. 3 RBIs tonight.
Hanley's at first, and he's chased back by Lyles. Logan Morrison bounced to second his first time up. Hanley is running. Morrison pops it into left. Lee barges in and makes the catch. Marlins get a run and take the lead. Hanley Ramirez has driven in all 3. The Astros. Stop by any Metro PCS store in Miami, Broward, or Palm Beach before July 10th to register to win a trip for 2 to see the Marlins play in San Diego August 19th through the 21st. Trip includes airfare, hotel, tickets to all 3 games. Don't wait. Stop by your local Metro PCS store today. Metro PCS, wireless for all. First lead of the night for the Marlins. Let's see how Javi Vasquez deals with it. Brett Wallace swings and misses. Brett Wallace has always been an intriguing player as he's come up through the minor leagues. Cardinals picked him 13th overall in the first round back in 2008. An All-American out of Arizona State. He grew up in one of your favorite places, Napa, California.
Oh, yeah. Tough to concentrate on baseball there. He's always hit, too, wherever he's been.
Was traded to Oakland in the Matt Holliday trade. Then traded over to Toronto. And then Houston traded for him in July of last year. And he swings and misses at a real good changeup by Vasquez.
Well, ever since the first inning, and as we pointed out, a lot of it wasn't Javi's fault. But ever since that first inning, he's made good pitches. That, an excellent changeup to a good hitter.
I read an article today that made a really good point about Javier Vasquez, and it said the Marlins desperately need him to get back to 2009 form and pitch like he's been pitching in his last 4 starts, because without Josh Johnson, you need another frontline starter to emerge. Anibal Sanchez has done it. That one is stung to left. Morrison got a good jump and makes a sliding catch.
Outstanding positioning, too, because of where he was playing.
Robbing Clint Barnes of a base hit.
And that positioning goes back to the coaching staff.
AT&T trivia question: who's the only Astros pitcher to win a Silver Slugger? I'm going Mike Hampton on that one.
So, you know, at least I'm glad you're doing that, because people always get mad at me for throwing out the answer too soon.
Well, I mean, we don't read the questions, so
I know we don't.
Are we allowed to guess? I mean, if I said, you know, Charlie Kerfeld or something like that, people would say he didn't know what he's talking about. Charlie Kerfeld.
What about Mike Scott?
Charlie Kerfeld used to wear the Jetsons T-shirt. Remember that? Now a very respected scout in the game. Hanley gets around it. Better hurry. In the dirt. Dug out. Nicely done. Coparan thought maybe he beat it out. Jerry Veal said, not tonight. Our Light FPL is working to make its system stronger, smarter, cleaner, and even more efficient. Visit FPLConnect.com to learn more. And by Coventry Healthcare of Florida, lighting the way to better health. Friday night at the ballpark, the Marlins trying to make it 2 in a row against the Astros. In a 1-run game right now, the bottom of the 4th. Jordan Lyles, who is just 20, out of Hartsville, South Carolina, has had his ups and downs in this one. And Ramirez a 2-run homer in the 1st. Marlins had a runner thrown out at the plate in the 2nd, and then Hanley drove home Gabby Sanchez with 2 outs in the 3rd. Tommy, are you aware of this, that this copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Marlins? May not be reproduced, retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the fish. Stanton takes outside. Mike Stanton's double off the wall over the outstretched glove of Carlos Lee opened up the second, and it was Stanton that was thrown out trying to sneak his way around the catcher on the throw from Hunter Pence that ended the second.
Had a nice conversation with Eduardo Perez. We were talking about pitch recognition. I said, how does a hitting coach teach pitch recognition? Now, it's one thing to teach a physical thing. So a lot of it has to do with experience. The more you see, a lot of it has to do on the pitches you take, on 2-0 pitches, 3-0 pitches. If you have the take sign, get a good look at that pitch. See where that is. See how it comes out of the pitcher's hand. And that will help your pitch recognition. Not good recognition on that big curveball that Stanton just chased.
Here's Greg Dobbs. Dobbs in the starting lineup tonight. If you've just joined us and you're saying, wait a minute, Brian Peterson is in center, Dobbs is at third, where is Bonifacio tonight? Well, today, Emilio Bonifacio's wife apparently being induced and was scheduled to give birth. We're all awaiting word from the Marlins PR department. Hopefully everything goes well. Ball and a strike to Dobbs, who was robbed of extra bases in his first at bat on the diving stop by Brett Wallace, but it was an important at bat because it moved Stanton from second to third and put him there with one out.
One thing about the youngster out there, he doesn't waste much time. He gets it, gets a sign, and is ready to go.
Yeah, we've seen a couple Marlin hitters ask for time, just trying to keep him from rushing them at the plate. Two balls, two strikes. He could have been catching passes for the old ball coach in South Carolina.
Yeah, he could have. Caught 23 touchdown passes. High school career, 81 catches. See, if you're a receiver, you certainly want to maybe play for the old ball coach.
Well, the whole spread.
There are a few programs too that you could go to.
And of course, the SEC. Here's the 3-2. There's a pop up out in front of the plate. Poporan makes the catch. Before we discuss the spread offense, let's answer the trivia question. And this guy may have a little football tie in him too. The AT&T trivia answer. Mike Hampton,
and I think you did nail this. Look at what he hit in 1999. Always considered one of the best hitting pitchers and a terrific athlete was Mike Hampton.
As I he's a Florida guy, right? As I remember, he was highly recruited as a defensive back coming out of high school. Here is John Buck. And Buck takes outside.
I want to say by FSU, but I'm not sure.
Hampton retired, I believe it officially retired last year. A very wealthy man. Here's the 2-0. His contract was so enormous that after the Rockies traded him, there were a number of teams that ended up having to pick up some of that, including the Marlins.
The Marlins were one of those teams.
Because in that process, somebody else picked up one of the Marlins' big contracts in the exchange. Here's a 3-1 pitch to Buck. John hits a scorcher in the left field, and that's a base hit. Boy, I'm just watching up here in the booth. We've got the Oakland, Texas game on right now, and that's, I'm sure if you're a baseball fan or even if you're just a casual fan, you saw or read what happened last night at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington with a fan reaching for a ball thrown by Josh Hamilton in left field. We were just there last week, falling over the railing, and about a 17-foot fall, and the fan died on his way to the hospital. Drive to center. That ball's hit pretty well. Bourne goes back, and he makes the catch. Tough night for everybody in Arlington. They're all wearing black ribbons in that ball game tonight. In the fifth inning, let's check in with Allison Williams. Allison?
Rich, you were talking earlier before the break about the tragedy in Texas last night with the Rangers fan falling to his death, reaching for a ball thrown to him by Josh Hamilton. And I got a chance to talk to Logan Morrison before the game about the situation. He obviously expressed extreme remorse for the fan, the family, and the Rangers, especially Josh Hamilton. He said it is something he's cognizant of, though, is to not throw balls to fans that are in the first row high up. He said he noticed it when he first came into the big leagues because Cameron Maben often would, and the ball would fall back onto the field if they didn't catch it, so it would delay the game a bit, and then he would notice fans reaching over, leaning, trying to get the ball, and it concerned him a bit. So he said when he throws balls to fans in the front row, it's always in the lower seats, and if he does throw them high, he tries to throw them several rows back. And he expressed a lot of sympathy for Josh Hamilton. And I remember last year when the Rangers were here in South Florida to play, I interviewed Hamilton post-game. And he stayed afterwards for probably 20 minutes signing for fans. And he gave away his gloves, his wristbands, his hat, everything he had to the fans that stuck around to get his autograph. With all he has been through, there are few in this sport that appreciate the fans as much as Josh Hamilton. It's certainly a tough experience for him to go through right now, and everybody's thinking of him as well.
Yeah, Allison, we had a chance when we were in Texas. Frank Fort did a real nice interview with Josh Hamilton, and he couldn't have been more gracious and more humble for a guy that certainly is at the top of this game.
He's been at the top and he's been at the bottom, so that's where his humility comes from.
Gabby's coming down. Buck says, hey, I've already done this tonight, so I might as well do it again. And John makes the catch. For the first out of the fifth inning, Avi Vasquez right now with a 3-2 lead over the Houston Astros.
By the way, I was just looking quickly. Mike Hampton finished his career with 16 career home runs and had 7 one season. In 01 for the Rockies, he had 291 and had 7 home runs.
Here is Michael Bourne. Bourne has a pair of singles, scored in the first. He pops it up. Morrison charging over towards the wall, and he's there and makes the catch. So there's 2 outs. Here comes Angel Sanchez, and here comes the upcoming Marlins schedule brought to you by Just for Men Hair Color. Houston. 2 more ball games before the break. Tomorrow night, Super Saturday, Brett Myers, Ricky Nolasco. That's a very good matchup of a couple veteran right-handers. Wandy Rodriguez has pitched well this year, and he goes on Sunday against Chris Bolstad. Just as we look forward to the upcoming schedule, you can live forward with Just for Men hair cover.
Myers, Ricky Nolasco, a couple of guys who can drop that deuce in there for strikes. Good curveballs.
Sanchez 0 for 2. He has struck out and bounced out. It's a ground ball into right field. Speaking of out, how about all of the Yankees who are dropping out of the All-Star game? Derek Jeter is well enough to go after 3,000 hits this weekend, but wants to rest his calf, and that's certainly a guy that's played in the league and accomplished that much. That's his choice to make. Alex Rodriguez wants to have his right knee examined. And is it Mariano Rivera also out?
He dropped out the day before.
So there's probably some eager American leaguers that were on the bubble that are hoping their phone rings. Now Shane Victorino is out, and he's out with the sprained thumb. He's officially out of the All-Star game, and Andre Ethier was named by Bruce Bochy to replace him. Bochy said that it wasn't a rule, but he kind of went by the fact that Ethier was second in the final vote.
Did you see where Victorino got over 9 million votes?
How many people are there in the state of Hawaii?
About 9 million. I don't know.
Hence fouls it off.
Which is interesting because remember the leader in the fan voting for the most votes was Jose Bautista with Toronto, had over 7 million. And in the fan voting for the extra player, Victorino got over 9 million.
Well, he is a fan favorite. I mean, it shows that his popularity isn't just in Philadelphia. He's fun to watch. He's an energetic player. And deserving of an all-star nod.
I heard him interviewed today, and he was naming off all the other players in pro ball that are from Hawaii. I mean, he had guys in low A. He knew them all.
Yeah, I had that same discussion with him in Philadelphia earlier this year.
Of course, he mentioned Kurt Suzuki.
Same hometown.
Guys in the big leagues.
Yeah.
Brandon League.
One-two, good pitch. Vasquez strikes out a good hitter, and Hunter Pence, and leaves Sanchez in first. Halfway through, the Fish have a 3-2 lead. I mean, we've only got 34 more left.
We're saving it up for the new ballpark, the pool out there.
Tuesday, don't miss the world premiere of the X Factor. Simon Cowell is back in television's next big event, and you can only catch it during the All-Star Game Tuesday, only on Fox. Brian Peterson leads it off, top of the order. Big floppy curveball from Lyles for a strike. Peterson has walked and scored, and he has struck out. Atlanta and Philadelphia still delayed. Brandon Beachy and Roy Halladay slated to go in that one.
We're talking about the Texas Rangers. And did you see who won their game last night? Remember, it's such a crazy game. Remember how horrible Derek Holland looked against the Marlins? He went 2/3 of an inning, gave up 5 runs. He pitched a complete game shutout against Oakland last night.
0-2 pitch. Lyles misses outside. Yeah, he threw 46 pitches in that first inning and only got 2 outs.
Yeah.
By the way, Mike Napoli just hit a grand slam. He's off the DL and he hits a grand slam. Texas 5-0 over Oakland. First inning. Peterson takes down low. The count's 2-2. We're still waiting on that Emilio Bonifacio update. That hit him, and Peterson takes his base. Marlins have their leadoff man aboard here in the 5th.
Peterson doing his job at the top of the order. He's been on base twice. He walked and scored ahead of Hanley when Hanley hit the home run in the first inning, and now he gets on base here.
He got a nice pep talk from Jack McKeon today around the batting cage, just saying how much Jack likes the way he's played. You know, as you pointed out, Jack said to me after that conversation, he said that the most important thing was I told him, don't play any differently than you were playing in AAA. Just do the same things that were making you successful there. You don't have to do any more up at this level. Just play that same way. And he's running on the pitch, and Fonte's hitting.
Looked like a hit and run. Probably one of the hardest things for young players to make the adjustment to. They have success in the minor leagues. It's funny because you don't really do it from A ball to AA or AA to AAA. You don't try to do too much, but all of a sudden you get to the big leagues and you kind of forget what got you there. And that's what Jack told Brian. Just do the same thing you've been doing. He also told him he'd be in the lineup a lot, too.
That helps. It's like Cookie told us the other night with Brad Hand on the mound. He said he's finally realizing that he's got 7 guys behind him that are on his team.
Yeah. Use that defense. And you can't use that defense if you don't throw strikes.
Well, the Marlins have tried to move Peterson in a couple of ways. The hit and run didn't work. The bunt didn't work. And now Infante, who's 0 for 2, is behind in the count, 0-2. Little nub shot that's going to nestle into center. Peterson stumbled a bit, but I don't know if he would have taken third anyway. Bourne is so quick that he was on that ball right away.
Well, let's see. The hit and run didn't work. The bunt didn't work. Well, okay, I'll just drop a base hit into shallow center field off the end of the bat. And that's what Infante did. He got this on the end of the bat, pitched well out of the strike zone. But Bourne, in an instant, pounces on this ball. If he doesn't do that as a runner, especially with speed that Brian Peterson has a chance to go to third base, but not the way Bourne came in.
The Marlins have had opportunities to put more than 3 on the board. They had one in the second. They've got a nice one here. Gabby drops down a bunt. Lyles picks it up, hesitates, throws, and just gets him at third base. Sanchez limping a bit. Jack McKeon the other night, when Gabby Sanchez bunted with runners at first and second, said Gabby did that on his own. And so I suspect Gabby did this on his own as well.
Yeah, I would suspect that. And, you know, if you're going to do it, you have to have a good effort. You've got to get it up that line. Not a good bunt. The Astros are able to get the out at third. And I would imagine he did it on his own that time, too.
So Hanley comes up with runners first and second and 1 out. Hanley takes a pitch up. He's driven in all 3 runs. 2 came on this one swing. had a great sound to it.
Yeah, that did. Let's add some of that serious crack-a-lack, as you like to say.
You can't find that sound anywhere else but in a big league ballpark with a hitter like a Hanley Ramirez or a Mike Stanton.
Well, we talk about that, and I swear this is true. You can stand with your back to the batting cage, and you can tell when Mike Stanton's hitting just by the sound.
That one fouled back to the screen. It was I think it was in the Ken Burns baseball film. I'm trying to remember the gentleman was talking about. Oh, it was Buck O'Neill. Buck O'Neill was talking about, and Buck O'Neill lived through generations of ball players. Just that, he said that there were certain hitters in history that he had a chance to hear and watch hit, where the ball off the bat just sounded different. Hanley smokes it into right field, base hit, stop sign is up. Pence has a great and accurate arm, and the bags are loaded. And here comes Logan Morrison.
Boy, Hanley is locked in. He's staying back, staying on top of that ball, shot it out there quickly, and because it was hit hard, and because of Pence's 9 assists, no chance for Infante to score.
Here comes Logan Morrison. I don't recall all the hitters, but I think it was Ruth. I want to say DiMaggio, Aaron, and I remember the last one was Bo Jackson.
Yeah, that Bo Jackson's a good one.
So here's Lomo, big at bat, and he swings and misses. And it's 0-1.
One of the greatest things years ago, before he passed away, Buck O'Neill was going into Kansas City.
Oh, man.
He had a seat down there behind home plate. He always sat in the same place. But you could also see him up in the press room and engage him in a conversation.
Here's the 0-1. It's outside. I had the honor of interviewing him probably 3 or 4 times for Seattle television and Mariners radio as well. And we also got a chance to get a tour of the Negro League Museum with him there, which was extremely special because he knew all the guys that were in that.
Right now, Jordan Lyles eating up Morrison on his changeup. I'll bet you one of those hitters, too, was Josh Gibson that Buck O'Neill talked about.
Yes, yeah, you're right. Gibson was in that line. Ruth Gibson, I believe Aaron, and Bo Jackson, and there may have been another one in the middle there. Pitch is in. And we'll see now if the fastball in sets up the soft stuff away to Morrison.
He's had him out front, swinging and missing at 2 changeups already. So you would have to think that fastball in will set up this changeup.
Ooh. Just missed outside.
Boy, that was a good pitch. Tough one to take.
Pitch number 5.
And it was.
Dale Scott, the home plate umpire, will be the home plate umpire for the All-Star game next week. Bags are loaded. 3-2 ball game. Logan Morrison 0 for 2. Full count, 1 out. Here's the pitch. He took it, and the Marlins have their 4th run. 20-year-old Jordan Lyles walks home a run here in the 5th. And here comes Mike Stanton.
Man, that was just a quality at bat by Logan Morrison. He was fooled a couple of times, but he showed patience, took some pitches, and worked it into a walk, and picks up the RBI.
See, in this age of social media and immediate communication, there should be a Mike Stanton warning signal that you can send out to baseball fans when Stanton comes to the plate. Unfortunately, Logan Morrison can't tweet it because he's up before Stanton.
I can.
Well, get busy. And here comes Doug Brocail.
They'll have more time now
to talk to the 20-year-old Miles about facing Stanton. Stanton doubled off the wall and left and struck out. Tommy's talked about this run of games that Stanton has had. Here's some of the highlights.
Yeah, the last 4 hits off the bat of Mike Stanton. Here they are. Had that triple off Hamels. A laser beam to left center field. You had the walk-off home run that was an absolute shot. We were all wondering if it was going to be high enough. Then you had the home run last night on a breaking ball. Great extension. 440 or so in the blue seats. And probably the least of all, the least hardest hit was the double he got earlier tonight.
He has doubled and struck out. And he goes after a breaking ball. It's 0-1.
But he chased that same pitch for strike 3 back in the 4th inning. Pitch identification.
Fernando Rodriguez in the Houston bullpen. Oh, 1. Miles twice tonight has thrown a breaking ball like that was a good 5 feet over everybody's head and went to the screen. So that's not a pitch that he's really mastered tonight. 1-1. That's up, and it's 2-1.
If he throws the curveball and it's not in the dirt, if it's a strike, Mike Stanton's going to hit it.
Stanton to left. It's deep. Back goes Lee to the wall, and he got it. Tagging at third and scoring is Gabby Sanchez.
He didn't get the curveball, he got the changeup.
A high and towering one. Carlos Lee wandered back as far as he could. And it's 5-2 now. Even El Caballo was impressed.
That was fractions of an inch of being a grand slam.
I know, Tommy, you missed the space shuttle launch today, so that's the next best thing for you.
That's the next best thing. A long Stanton sacrifice fly.
Here's Dobbs now, first and second, 2 outs. For Toyota Trend, 4 or less, or 4 or more, 34 and 15, 4 or less, 6 and 33.
So right now the odds in the Marlins' favor with 5 runs.
Oh, 2 to Dobbs. A bases loaded walk and a sacrifice fly have provided a couple more runs here in the bottom of the 5th. And the Ramirez would like to score. Pitch is in.
Well, the thing about Hanley's night with his 3 base hits, Hanley came into this game, we talked about it last night, 381, so that's going to go up in his career against the Astros.
Yeah.
With 9 career home runs now against Houston.
And it always seems like it's a National League Central team that Hanley has ridiculous numbers against. Dobbs flips that to left. El Caballo is putting on a clinic out there. He kisses the glove. Thank you, glove, for saving me. 5-2.
catch up with Alan Sigwart all week, the head groundskeeper. Busy man, was able to slate me in here because you're busy preparing for your next big thing, which is a soccer conversion. But let's talk about this field, because a week ago there was no outfield here.
No, we had the U2 concert here, and it's raising havoc all over the country. So we had to replace the entire outfield, 100,000 square feet in 2 days.
You didn't get it until about 10 o'clock last Friday night. And then you didn't, by the time you cleared everything off, you started laying the sod the next day?
Yeah, Saturday morning early, and got the whole field laid in Saturday night. My crew did a great job.
It was ready for baseball. Are you happy the way it's kind of building in now over the seams? Because there's still seams, obviously, because the grass is only 5 days old.
Right, and it was a quick job last minute, but we plan on the second the Marlins get out of town, throwing everything but the kitchen sink out here. We're going to get it smooth again like it was previous to the concert, like a pool table. So we got a lot of work left to do, but we'll get it.
Big football match, as they say, soccer game coming up. And the infield is going to present a little issue because you're going to have to sod that. Yeah,
we're going to have to lay sod over the infield dirt because it's Barcelona. I guess they're the #1 team in the world. And
never done that before.
No, not sod the dirt for soccer. But the problem is, the game's at 8, it gets over at midnight, and the Marlins are here the next day. So all this has to roll up and the baseball field be put back together, and so it's going to be a challenge.
Nice catch by Brian Peterson. That's why he gets the big bucks. Alan, good to see you. You did a great job in this field, and it's amazing it's only a week old. Good job.
I appreciate it, and I appreciate all the great comments from David and Tommy and Rich, and we appreciate it.
You guys are the best, as we know from traveling around the league. Guys, back up to you.
Yeah, unparalleled what these guys have to deal with here, and what Alan and his crew have to deal with all the different sports, with this climate, and they do a terrific job.
No question. And in the series against the Phillies, and so far in the series against the Astros, I don't think we've had a play where we've said that looks like maybe because of the turf and the seams and all that. That's the kind of job that his crew does.
I know one thing. They won't have to roll the spot in left field where Carlos Lee dove for the ball. Here's the 0-1. Breaking ball, and Wallace drives it down the left field line into the corner and out of play.
Boy, it's really been a manageable pitch count for Javier Vazquez after that first inning. Vazquez right now at 73 pitches.
Counts 0-2. Wallace an RBI single in the first, struck out in the fourth. I think Brett Wallace is going to hit here in the big leagues as well. I mean, you look at what he's done this year. He's around 285, and his on-base percentage is up around 370, and that's a great sign for a young hitter.
Yeah, and to hit when you don't have a whole lot around you on a club that's really struggling, it's even tougher.
Challenge for some of the organizations that have had him is finding a spot for him in the big leagues. But Wallace, I mean, if you're a young player like Wallace, Houston is a great place to play right now because you're getting a chance to play. It's like the Marlins back in 2006.
Yeah, he's getting a great opportunity at this level, and as you said, in the 280s, he's holding his own. 304, lifetime hitter in the minor leagues. We talked about back-to-back years, won the Triple Crown in the Pac-10.
1-2. He fouls it off. He is a sturdy guy. I mean, he is thick. Ground ball out to second, and Fonte handles it. Javi Vazquez is sailing right now with a 5-2 lead in his 6 innings of work. Marlins tonight at Sun Life Stadium on top of the Houston Astros 5-2 ball game. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. Cast of not quite thousands, but it's close. We got Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine, Allison Williams with us. Frank Fort will be by after the post-game show with the latest Inside the Marlins installment. Mike Stanton. Stanton has driven in a run with a sacrifice fly and has doubled tonight. John Sulcer's our producer. Jim Hawley is our director. Ken Lee, our award-winning graphics coordinator. Line to right. Hunter Pence there to make the catch. John Buck, one pitch, one out here in the bottom of the sixth. Kids, tune in tomorrow at 6 and watch Billy's Bunch, presented by Players Edge Academy. This month's episode features Jeff Conine in an ice cream eating contest. Does Conine even eat ice cream? Also, learn from Coach Cousins as he teaches you the fundamentals of catching. Billy's Bunch. Pay no attention to what you saw on the screen there. It's at 6 o'clock tomorrow night.
Not 11 a.m. They get you on that one every time.
They threw me a curveball on that last week. Last week, the card...
It didn't coincide.
It said 8:30.
Yeah, it didn't match.
And the game was on at 8:30. You guys are killing me down there. Can I rescind my my plaudits to the guys in the truck? At least I got their names out there before the mishap.
It's probably going to be the last inning for Jordan Lyles, the 20-year-old. He's due up third, but how about the last two balls that Javi Vasquez has hit?
Yeah,
2 shots to center field. Both for outs. So.
He's 0 for 3. Top of the order now. Brian Peterson has walked, struck out, hit by a pitch. Jack McKeon indicating that Mike Cameron should be in the lineup for the next couple of games. Peterson might find himself in left field, give Logan Morrison a night off. If Mike Stanton needs a rest, he can play right field as well.
Well, you would expect Mike Cameron certainly to be in there Sunday against the lefty Wandy Rodriguez. And we'll see what Jack decides to do tomorrow night against the veteran Brett Myers.
Peterson almost got clipped again. It's not quite armor that he's wearing on that right elbow. More of a thick pad. I don't think there's Kevlar included.
It's not of the Barry Bonds variety.
3-1 pitch coming. Been fun to watch Peterson hit. He doesn't seem to be afraid to get into deep counts.
That's one of the big things he improved on this year.
Fly ball center. Bourne had him played right there, and he makes the catch. Jordan Lyles with a very quick 6th inning. On to the 7th we go.
How are you guys?
Always good to see. As we said last night, always good to see you guys, and especially with the lead.
Yes, sir. No question. Howie's done a great job this evening.
Yeah, in actuality, it should be 5-0 right now if the infield makes a couple plays in that first inning.
Yeah, the defense didn't help him a lot. And in the last 4 games before tonight, only 5 runs he's given up, and 4 of them were earned. So it's good to see him pitching that way. I think he's going to give us a good rest of the season.
It's good to see his fastball back and him using the fastball in and out, and also with control.
Well, that's the key. He has to be ahead of the hitters and stay in the zone and change speeds, and that's the type of pitcher that he has to be right now. And he's done a good job out of the last 4 or 5 starts.
He seems to have just so much more confidence on the mound.
Well, it changes that way. When every pitcher start working, then you have a good feeling on the mound.
Clint Barmes has a good feeling in his hands after driving that one off the wall for a double. All right, guys, have a good show.
All right, Richie.
Thanks, guys. You too.
All right.
Barmes leads off with a double here in the 17th of the year. (5-2) Fish. Carlos Coparan pulls it foul. You can help select the all-time Florida Marlins team. Cast your vote at Marlins.com for the greatest players in franchise history at each position. One lucky fan will receive 4 infield box tickets to the final closing day at Sun Life Stadium, where the all-time team will be revealed. Voting ends on July 12th. So go to Marlins.com today. Astros have their leadoff man out at second base. I don't know that I've seen that in a while. Coparan squared to bunt and took that pitch between his legs.
Watch where this ball goes. and somehow John Buck caught it. He's blocked out by his leg.
He's stepping. See where his foot was? He squared and his foot was right behind home plate. If he bunts that ball, he's out, right? I mean, if he puts it in play in fair territory and his foot is behind home plate.
And I'm also kind of curious why he was trying to bunt, too.
Yeah. No kidding. Down by 3 here in the 7th. Pitcher spot is due up next.
Yeah, Matt Downs, pinch hitter on deck.
I'd kind of like to see him try to bunt again just to see where he'd step. Randy Choate, Burt Badenhop in the Marlins pen. Dobbs is over, and he makes the catch.
You can't say enough about last night's performance of Brad Hand, 7 innings, and what that does to a bullpen, and Javi taking this game into the 7th inning.
Hand, of course, after the ball game was sent back down to Double-A with the All-Star break coming up. Everybody can reset the rotation at the top of it, and since Hand is at the bottom of it, he's not needed in this series. And if you missed the news, Chris Hatcher has been called up, and Hatcher, there was a note in the Palm Beach Post tonight, a little bit of history with Chris Hatcher coming up. There's a look at Chris, and Hand back to Jacksonville. The fact that Hatcher has been called up as a pitcher, he's the first player in 75 years to, and this is from Elias Sports Bureau, first catcher turned pitcher in the majors since Art Dahl of the Boston Braves 75 years ago.
Yeah, there have been other conversions, but ones that didn't make it, let's say, as a catcher to the big leagues.
Yeah, and then go back down to the minors and come back as a pitcher.
Yeah. The one that comes to mind, we see him a lot in the spring. We saw him with St. Louis, is Jason Mott, the hard thrower, who was a minor league catcher, got the A-ball, and then made the transition.
Wasn't former Marlin Henry Owens a catcher at one point in his career as well?
By the way, we get Brian Bogusevic is the pinch hitter. Downs was on deck.
Bogusevic pulls it into the dugout. The amazing thing about Hatcher, as you see the bullpen of the Houston Astros, Fernando Rodriguez, second time he's been up. The amazing thing about Hatcher is it's not like he's been pitching for a long time. This is his first year as a pitcher, and he's made 30 appearances, and now here he is in the big leagues.
That's a fast track.
Yeah. Outside corner. Vasquez strikes out Bogusevic.
More good pitches from Javi Vasquez. Fastball paint on the outside corner to get the pinch hitter.
Michael Bourne is 2 for 3. He has singled twice, and he's popped out. Vasquez bringing it, 91. He's been in the low 90s all night.
Yeah, it's been there all night. 91, 92 consistently. Slider's been there, some good change-ups. Once in a while, a curveball. A complete Javier Vasquez. I talked to Javi yesterday because in 04 he made the All-Star team just with the Yankees that year, and he said what a thrill to represent a team like the Yankees in the All-Star game. And he said a lot of Yankees on that team. He said Jeter and A-Rod and Mariano Rivera. And he was looking back. He thought Joe Torre was the manager that year, so he said it was a tremendous experience.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. And you know, it's been written and it's been said that over the last 4 starts he's kind of rediscovered his fastball, or his arm has regained that velocity. But if you talk to Javi, you talk to Randy St. Clair, they'll tell you the key is his lower body. And he's been able to get back to using that lower body a little bit more, and that's helped the fastball. That ball is hit to right, hit well, but Stanton is there, and he makes the catch. 7 innings in the books for Javi Vasquez, with the Marlins on top 5-2. can make your plans for the Marlins All-Star Game watch party on Tuesday, July 12th at 8 at the brand new Duffy's Sports Grill in North Miami Beach. Billy and the Mermaids will be there. You can win tickets, autographed items, and enjoy great food and drink specials at new Duffy's Sports Grill. Been a lively group out there in the right field corner tonight. And the Astros, with Bogusevic hitting for Lyles in the top of the 7th, finally summoned Fernando Rodriguez from the bullpen.
Yeah, and the line on Lyles in his 6 innings. He gave up 5 runs on 7 hits. It was kind of an interesting outing for the youngster, but I think I liked what I saw. I think he's going to be around a while. He had a lot of composure, as they said. Marlins were able to get some key hits. He was unable to retire Hanley Ramirez.
Been a big night for Hanley. Here's Infante with Gabby Sanchez and Hanley coming after him. Hanley's got 3 hits, driven in 3 runs. And Rodriguez misses away with that fastball. 2-0. Infante singled and scored in the 5th. He came in on the bases loaded walk to Logan Morrison. Mike Stanton delivered another run with a sac fly. Hanley's home run came in the 1st. It was a 2-run shot, and he added an RBI single in the 3rd. That's how the Marlins have their runs tonight. The Astros got 2 in the 1st, and they really shouldn't have had 1. Michael Bourne hit a tapper to Hanley Ramirez, who didn't have a real sense of urgency, and Bourne beat it out for an infield single. After a strikeout, Infante went to his left for a ground ball, spun and threw it to Hanley, or actually tried to throw it to Hanley and threw it wide of second, and for some reason was not given an error. And the 2 base runners both came around to score on singles by Jeff Keppinger and Brett Wallace. Barmes runs that one down. And here comes Gabby Sanchez. Pittsburgh and the Cubs 3-3. Andrew McCutchen has homered, his 13th. Aramis Ramirez is hot right now, and the Marlins are going to see him right out of the break. He's hit his 15th. 3-3 in the 7th. Gabby shatters his bat, and even Bourne can't run that one down. And if he can't run it down, no one can.
Yeah, we talked about Aramis Ramirez. Also, Carlos Pena has caught fire. He's got 19 home runs. So a couple of power hitters for the Cubs getting on track. We see Darwin Barney again. He's been having a solid year. Starlin Castro, their young shortstop.
Hanley now, the home run in the 1st, the RBI single in the 3rd, and just a garden variety single in the 5th. Reds lead Milwaukee 4-1. Joey Votto's 13th. Ricky Weeks has hit his 17th.
Ricky Weeks getting geared up for the home run hitting contest.
Fastball up and in to Hanley. Lance Berkman has hit his 24th. And St. Louis leads Arizona 3-0 in the 4th. Those are the career numbers you were talking about now against Houston. 394. That one misses in. 2-0.
All right, Rich, if you were going to pick somebody right off the top of your head, Holiday, Weeks, Matt Kemp, or Prince Fielder, who do you like in the home run hitting contest for the National League?
I'll go Prince Fielder.
I'll go Matt Kemp.
I think we both got a pretty good chance with either of those guys. You know, one thing, I'm waiting for the story to be written, because in spring training, one of the things about the Dodgers that struck my eye was that Davey Lopes had kind of taken Matt Kemp on as a project, so to speak. You know, Jason Worth has given Lopes a lot of credit for helping him become the ball player that he is now when he was a Philly. Rodriguez walks Hanley.
I would be surprised if that story hasn't been written in Los Angeles. However, there have been so many other stories about off the field things that maybe not. But you're correct, and I'm sure he has had a huge impact on the season Matt Kemp has had.
Now Morrison up in a good spot, runners first and second.
Rich, our crack staff just starting to heat up, as they always do. Hanley Ramirez now against the National League Central in 190 games. A .335 hitter with 34 home runs.
That's amazing because in this unbalanced schedule, you're only playing each team in the division 6-7 times. Every now and then you'll play them 8 times. Every now and then you'll play them only 5 times. There are 6 teams in that division, so you get an extra team. But
you're also kind of seeing them sporadically. You know, you're not seeing them with much consistency.
Ball and a strike. This has been a long year already for Brad Mills. Last year, the Astros were 76 and 86, 10 under. If they lose this game, they will be 30 under.
But it was the way that they played for Brad Mills last year after the All-Star game. They were 40 and 33 the second half of the season last year. They had a big meeting up in Pittsburgh, team meeting, lasted about an hour and a half. Just to air some things out.
They won that night. But then they came in here last night and the Marlins beat them. Marlins up 5-2 here, the 2-1. Morrison takes down low.
And from what I understand, it was more of a team meeting. It was not a lot of talking from Brad Mills. It was him overseeing things and letting the guys on the squad get things ironed out. We couldn't quite get a crack staff member in the meeting. We tried.
There's only so far you can go. 3-1 pitch coming to Logan Morrison. Sends it to center. And Bourne is there to make the catch. So an 0 for 3 night for Morrison. And here comes Mike Stanton again. Stanton has doubled off the wall. He struck out in the 4th, and he hit one to the wall in deep left center for a sacrifice fly. That was back in the 5th. Mike takes a breaking ball for a strike, 0-1.
Mike Stanton, Rich, is going to be one of those hitters in his career that'll kill the concessions. Because every time he comes up to hit, people aren't going to leave their seats. They're going to stay right there.
Ball and a strike. Badenhop continues to throw. Sanchez, Pence, and Lee due up in the 8th. Two and 1. Fastball scorched into right field. Base hit. Here comes Gabby. He will score. He hit some of the hardest ground balls you will see. Two more RBIs tonight, 51 on the season now for Stanton.
Yeah, Wallace is playing off the line, and this ball just stung. He didn't have much time to react. It wasn't that far away from him, but it got by him in a hurry. So Mike Stanton picks up another RBI. Gabby Sanchez scoring for the 3rd time tonight.
Doug Brocail, who had a long career in the big leagues. Jim Hawley chiming in that he was a former Tiger. It seems like he was traded between the Tigers and the Padres and the Astros like 4 times in Doug's long career. From 1992 all the way through 2009. Now Dobbs is up at the corners with 2 outs. A run across here in the bottom of the 7th. Fernando Rodriguez throws a strike.
Boy, a long rain delay. They're just getting underway in Philadelphia at Citizens Bank Park. Roy Halladay and Brian Beachy in that big series over the weekend, Phillies and Braves.
Breaking ball misses outside. You know, I had to go back and look just to see if I was even close on the Doug Brocail comment. Drafted by the Padres in '86. Traded by the Padres to the Astros in like a 10-12 player deal back in '94. Traded by the Astros then to the Tigers in another monster deal in '96. Swing and a miss. Traded by the Tigers back to the Astros in 2000. Signed by the Rangers as a free agent. Signed by the Padres as a free agent. Signed by the Astros as a free agent. Signed by the Padres as a free agent. And then finally signed with the Astros to end his career.
A well-traveled Doug Brocail.
There's a liner foul. Here are the names of the big trade that he was involved in '94. The Padres, he was traded by the Padres with Derek Bell, Ricky Gutierrez, Pedro Martinez, and that's a different Pedro.
Different
Martinez.
Pedro.
Phil Plantier, and our good buddy Craig Shipley to the Houston Astros for Ken Caminiti, Andujar Cedeno, Steve Finley, Robert Pettigini, and Brian Williams.
Wow.
The NBC anchor was involved in that deal. He was then involved in the Jose Lima trade with names like Todd Jones, Brian Hunter, Darrell Ward, Trevor Miller, Lima, Brad Ausmus.
That's amazing. It'd be one of those guys. He was a quality pitcher mid part of a game, and the other team probably said, you know, we'll make this deal if you throw in Brocail.
Dobbs pulls it. It's a foul ball. Dale Scott had that call. The ball was fielded in front of first base. And that's the home plate umpire's call. If it gets past the bag, then it becomes the base umpire's call. Two. Dobbs hits it in the air to right center field. Bourne races over and makes the catch. And the inning is over. Marlins do get another run. Stanton drives in another at 6-2. The Marlins trying to make it 2 in a row against the Astros, and an opportunity for the Fish, as we've talked about, to gain some momentum, try to get themselves back on their feet. Dwayne Wise is in center field, and Brian Peterson moves over to left field. And Burke Badenhop is in the ball game with a 4-run lead to protect and try to bring home a win for Javi Vasquez. And wouldn't it be sweet? I mean, Vasquez has pitched his heart out the last 4 starts to a tune of a 1.54 ERA and has just 1 win to show for it.
If you go back now, his last 5 starts, 7 earned runs, an ERA of just a little over 2.08, 19 strikeouts and 3 walks.
Sanchez takes a strike, 1-1. Yeah, the walks total is incredible because it's almost like he just turned the faucet and shut him off.
It was like early on, it was about even. There might have been more walks and strikeouts at one point.
You know, the number that in reading about Vasquez today that jumped out at me is that since 2001, he leads all of baseball in strikeouts. So among all active pitchers since 2001, Vasquez is #1 in strikeouts. That one had some wicked English on it.
By the way, his first 4 starts this year, that's why you have to stay with it. Gabby's saying, yeah, you got to stay with that one, all the English. After Javi's first 4 starts, he had 16 walks and 11 strikeouts.
Now Badenhop to face Hunter Pence. Yankees and Rays rained out. Derek Jeter's quest for 3,000 will have to wait. Pop up. Gabby's back and Fonte's out. And Fonte says he has it. And when Omar Fonte says he has it, he has it. Tonight, after Marlins Live, which is our post-game offering, the premiere of Inside the Marlins, Mike Stanton. Can't you just see the premiere, Tommy, at like this, at the, what is it, Grauman's Chinese Theater?
Grauman's Chinese, yeah, the red carpet.
In comes Frank Ford.
Frank Ford. You and I could follow behind Frank.
Frank would come in with his posse.
Yeah. We'd be carrying something for Frank.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Maybe toting Frank Ford.
All of Mike Stanton's Notre Dame high school friends would be there. That one either off the glove or over the glove of Dobbs. Lee trudging into second. And he arrives with a slide. Much to the delight of everybody there.
He has fun playing this game. Let's see where this ball goes. Greg Dobbs makes the leap. That actually went off to the side of the glove. Talking about the walks and the strikeouts, Rich, for Javier Vasquez, told you his first 4 starts he had 16 walks. Over his last 11 starts, 12 walks, 50 strikeouts.
That's just incredible.
Yeah. That's a 4-to-1 ratio.
Boston is clobbering the Orioles tonight, 9-3 in the 7th. Dustin Pedroia has just homered.
Remember when Buck Showalter took over last year and they finished so strong and Oriole fans had high hopes? Showalter was going to turn everything around. They've really struggled.
You talked about Houston and their second half and how many people thought, hey, even without Berkman and even without Oswalt, they played good baseball down the stretch.
So would Houston be a seller? Would a Brett Myers or a Wandy Rodriguez be available?
I think I read an article a couple of days ago that for Ed Wade, he said, yeah, they would listen to all offers. What about Carlos Lee? I know he's still got an enormous contract. Houston would probably have to eat some of that before Carlos Lee ate some of it. But
and we've told you, yeah, an American League team, for him to go over and DH for somebody. The cattleman, El Caballo,
the rancher, man. He is in deep into that cattle business. Here's the 1-2.
He used to have great conversations with Jorge Cantu about their ranches.
Carlos Lee looks like the life of the party, doesn't he? It's like
he talks so he can't wait to get to the next base.
So he can talk.
I mean, he talked to everybody out at second, including the second base umpire, C.B. Buckner. Now he gets to third. He talks to his third base coach, Dave Clark. He had a little conversation with Greg Tobbs.
Kempinger, the king of the comebacker, is the hopper. A little flip over to first. And the 8th inning, top of, has expired. 6-2 Fish. Volkswagen drive of the game. It came in the first inning. The Marlins were down 2-0 until Hanley tied it up. Shot to right center.
So basically, to use basketball terms, the Marlins are on a 6-0 run. Sergio Escalano comes into a pitch.
And the first guy he faces is John Buck. With the double switch, Dwayne Wise is in the 9 spot, and he's up next. Then you got Brian Peterson.
Pretty
Sergio
good job.
Escalona. Yeah, not bad. An ERA of under 3. The Astros, you know, that's a funny thing about the Astros. They do have some talent in their rotation. Bud Norris, Brett Myers, Wandy Rodriguez. Two-0. Buck tonight has walked, singled, and lined out. Escalona gets in on his hands, and it's 2-2. Well, they are underway in Philadelphia, and the Braves have the first run, 1-0 in the bottom of the second inning. Rockies 3-2 over the Nationals. That's in the ninth. Buck fouls that one away. Giants and Mets about to get started in New York. That's not a flying luchador. I've seen a lot of those Angels wrestling masks around baseball. That ball was literally on the ground when Buck hit it. That's hard to do.
Yeah, that's called raking one off the off your shoe tops.
I have seen.
You know who used to get base hits on pitches like that was Manny Sanguin.
No, he's a great bat ball hitter. Vladimir Guerrero. I've seen Ichiro get a base hit on a ball that bounced in front of the plate.
I think I saw Sanguin do that once too.
Dwayne Wise up now. Escalona with a breaking ball for a strike. 0-2.
Now the Marlins, a win here tonight, will go to 9-8 under Jack McKeon.
A far cry from June, and with a chance, a great chance then to win this series going into the weekend with a Saturday night and a Sunday game coming up. They still have to face Brett Myers and Wandy Rodriguez. But the Marlins have Ricky Nolasco going tomorrow night. Chris Volstad just happy not to be facing the Phillies. Wise swings and misses. Escalona with a strikeout. Brian Peterson comes up with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. There's your matchup tomorrow night. We're on the air with our Marlins Live offering to you at 6:30. Of course, you don't want to miss Billy's Bunch. Apparently at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. And that's before Marlins Live. With Jeff Conine reportedly in an ice cream eating contest. I didn't even know that Niner the Iron Man ate ice cream.
I thought he stayed away from that stuff. And then you don't want to miss after the game inside the Marlins with Frank Fort and Mike Stanton.
That's coming up tonight?
Yeah, after the game. So a lot of things going on.
Peterson swings and misses.
I think
1-1.
The Conine ice cream thing was in between training. You know, it's kind of, well, he was after the, well, you know, after you do an Ironman, you can eat anything you want for a few weeks.
Peterson lines it into left center field. That's a base hit. I'll tell you one thing that Jack McKeon has liked about Brian Peterson has been his at-bats against lefties.
Well, and all of a sudden, a 1-for-3 night, and on base 3 times. He walked and scored. He was hit by a pitch, and a base hit here.
Infante, who's 1-for-4. Pirates and Cubs still 3-3. That's bottom 7. Escalona misses up. Jordan Lyles started this ball game. 6 innings, 7 hits, and he's responsible for the 5 runs. Is that a balk? Or did he step off? CB Buckner, the second base umpire, who is with a runner at first. The second base umpire is inside the diamond, so to speak. Runner goes. Peterson on first motion. He got an enormous jump, and he almost overslid the bag. Watch him zip right by the base here.
Yeah, this is what you call a hard slide. and he's going to remember that one because it's his first major league stolen base, too.
There you go. Fonte hits a high pop. Always fun to watch Carlos Lee out there. He makes the catch. And now the Marlins need 3 outs to salt this one away. Nice night for Brian Peterson. Jack McKeon trying to bring this one home. And Burke Badenhop is going to stay out there. And why not? Hopper worked a pretty clean 8th. So he gets the 9th as well. First up, Brett Wallace, who swung the bat pretty well tonight. And he lines one down the left field line, sprays it to the wall. Wallace around first. And he's going to end up with a double. I'm telling you, Tommy, this guy can hit.
Yeah, anytime you see a guy wherever he's played has swung the bat and hit well, it's got to translate up here. I think there were questions as to his defensive ability at first base, but he's okay over there.
Clint Barmas now. You got Barmas, and then the catcher spot, Carlos Corporan. Ground ball Infante's way. Flips it on over to first.
Of course, before Troy Tulowitzki, there was Clint Barmas.
That's right. And Barmas played so well for the Rockies after he lost that job last year. Hit .305, and scouts were impressed with the way he played shortstop in Tulowitzki's absence. It's one of the reasons the Astros decided that he could play shortstop for them on an everyday basis. Coperan into center field. RBI single. So Houston chips away. They've got a run here and a runner at first.
I think the Astros and Brad Mills just happy to get something out of their catching position. Corporan, it's his 19th start. They've really had struggles back there. J.R. Tolles hasn't worked out. We mentioned that last night. Roberto Quintero, they've been catching.
Here comes Jack. Kind of an indirect route Jack took. He kind of zigged and zagged, taking his time. And Badenhop's coming out. Looks like Leo Nunez is coming in. So here's a Marooney call to the pen.
When you need a car, truck or van, who you gonna call? Marooney!
Trying to come back against the Marlins are these Astros. Nunez trying to shut the door and finish this ball game. Jason Michaels is going to pinch hit, and the former Hurricane with Corporan at first, a run across. Then you got Bourne, Sanchez, and Pence around the bend if the Astros can keep this inning going.
This is one of those situations you don't want it to get going too deep into their lineup, and it's one of the few times that Nunez comes in a situation not starting an inning to pick up a save, and if he does that, it would be save number 24.
Pop up, Infante back, and he's there and he makes the catch. So Leo Nunez has the second out. Badenhop got the first, and now Bourne will open the game with an infield hit. This game started with the Astros taking a 2-0 lead in the first by no fault of Javier Vasquez. All he did was feed his infielders ground balls. They just couldn't get the outs. Since then, the Marlins, as Tommy put it, had a 6-0 run.
Yeah, it was broken in the top half of this inning.
Warren lifts that one foul and out of play. Fish looking for win number 41. This is game number 89 with 2 games till the All-Star break. Fastball is up. It's 1-1.
And as we look ahead, as I'm doing right now, Rich, at our TV schedule, we'll have everything for you until we get to September 10th in Pittsburgh.
Saturday.
So a lot of baseball right here on FS Florida.
Gabby backs up. Nunez is over, and the Marlins with the ball game. And it's 2 in a row against the Pirates. 3 in a row overall. Nice night by Mike Stanton. A big night for Hanley Ramirez. And great to see Javi Vasquez pitch well and get the W. 6-3 is the final.